Hello, this is Mike. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about paid search, and this is actual data from a client of mine that I took over in early November. So this is a car dealer, and they were locked in with a vendor that wasn't transparent. They wouldn't give them any access to their AdWords account so they could have it audited. So they ended up asking me to take over the paid search for them. So the first thing I did was install a fresh set of analytics, and I set up Google Tag Manager, and I started measuring a lot of different conversions because I could still get some data from the existing vendor. They had whatever contract they were in, they had to give a 30-day notice. So I had the whole month of October to kind of see what the other vendor was doing and how they were helping the dealership sell more cars. So a lot of this stuff, this is Google Data Studio, which pulls from AdWords and analytics. And you can make these really cool reports that you can change the date ranges of, and there's no sign required. My customers love them. Anyways, just to give you a rundown to the month of November, which was the first month we started doing paid search for this particular dealer. If you look at the overall metrics, the ones highlighted in green to me are the most important, and I'll explain each one briefly. Well, obviously clicks is how many clicks brought to the website. This dealer has a $4,000 budget. I only spent $3,200. I don't believe in wasting money. It was just a kind of a slow month, so they didn't have any problem with saving $800 in that case. CTR is one of my favorite numbers, and it's been said that any click-through ratio over 1% is good. I like to have at least 5%. It really depends on the industry. I've been doing automotive paid search for so long that I have a lot of little specific settings and tricks that I do to get this good CTR. So that means overall, their entire AdWords campaign for the month of November, their click-through ratio was 12%. So that's a really good number, something I'm proud of. Search impression share. This is something that a lot of companies will actually hide from you. The bottom line is if your impression share is 40%, that means 60% of the time your ad isn't even showing when someone searches for the terms you're bidding on. It's usually a budget issue, sloppy campaigns, you've been on too many keywords. There's a lot of factors to it. Impression shares will always be over 90%. Rarely have I ever seen 100% impression share. It's weird like that for Google. But anyways, 90% or better. If it's below that, then you have to work on your keywords or whatever it is that's causing it. And when your impression share goes up, you'll actually see your CTR go up as well if you're bidding on the right keywords. A lot of people talk about cost per click, which we have way over here. I rarely talk about it. I care about cost per conversion and conversion rate. So the keywords I'm bidding on, I set up a lot of not only phone call and lead conversions, but I set up micro conversions as well. If someone spends more than 30 seconds looking at a vehicle detail page, I'll count that as a micro conversion. I know it wasn't a bot or it wasn't someone just taking a peek and leaving and not really serious about what's on the site. Scroll depth trackers, a lot of things I measure. This particular dealer has a mobile click-to-call on their website for sales and service. So I actually track that. That's something you can't track with regular analytics. You need Tag Manager installed. But technically, a mobile click-to-call is an external link, even though it's a phone number. That's the way the internet looks at it. So I fire a tag every time someone clicks one of these two, and I like to source it. So I'll be able to dig deep and find out exactly what source these 33 phone calls came from. In this case, it's this 33 were from just paid search. And then the mobile service calls were 21. They had 98 total phone calls from the actual ads. If someone Googled whatever it was that their ad showed up on their phone number, instead of clicking on the website, they clicked the call from the ad, and Google counts that as a click. So, and that's, obviously you want phone calls. So cost per conversion, here's what I care most about. not cost per click. This is a really good way to measure, and you can measure right down to the keyword. So it gives you an idea of what keyword you don't want to bid on besides what you do want to bid on. And obviously, the keywords that convert, you want to optimize your campaigns as much as possible so you get good ad rank, things like that. So you see the overall cost was $3,200, and then the average position. This really depends on the customer. They obviously want the top spot, so we do. I mean, we get it. That's a really good average position of 1.1. So most of the time, depending on the keyword, in Google, our ad is coming up first. So it's they could be 3 if they want to save a little money, but as long as it's working. So anyways, one of the important things about the settings in paid search is there's some settings that Google recommends. Now, don't forget, Google is really good at making money, and I love Google. I love everything they do, but it can be very expensive. And if you listen to them word for word, you'll spend a lot more money than you should be spending. So be very careful when anything ever says recommended when you're making a setting change on your Google AdWords campaign. So, and the reason why I say that is I'm going to show you the Geo Breakdown. Now, this dealer is around my area. I live in Carver, Massachusetts. So fortunately, I know the towns. This, you could see just by my campaign, actually $800 less than what the previous vendor paid for during the month of October. This is comparing November to October. You'll see, obviously, Boston, that's an hour north. No one's going to come by a car here. It's driving me nuts that they have a co-op vendor that also does paid search for them, and they send them a lot of Boston and even traffic from New York, and it kills me. But I absolutely make sure that my traffic is isolated to the area that they're in. So if you look, my search compared to the previous vendor, the Plymouth, Massachusetts visitors are up 64%, New Bedford 24%, Wareham 20%, Barnstable 31%, Bourne 71%. These are towns that these people should be buying cars from this dealer. It's their local dealer. So, imagine all the times someone who lived between one dealer and another Googled, like Ford dealer, for example, and saw, didn't see an ad and ended up going to another dealer. So you could actually lose customers that way. So, and that really applies to any business if you're brick and mortar. So same thing with Middleborough. So if we change this to, let's look at the month of December now, which was last month. And I'll show you, I'm still working on those towns. I'm forever tweaking. But if you look, see, we're still getting the Boston. That's from that co-op company that they're using. Basically, General Motors pays for it. And it just, I don't even know if GM's aware of it. It's just a really, really crappy product, So I just wish it did stop altogether. But it's free to them. So, it's not affecting my campaign. So it is what it is. But if you see, I'm still additionally getting more traffic. I'm still going up in Bedford. I went way up in Wareham. I'm down 10% in Plymouth. There's the New York again showing up. Falmouth, I'm up 56%. So Middleborough is down 13%. But this is the stuff I look at. You have to look at this on a monthly basis to make sure that you're properly targeting your audience. So, and then compared to the numbers now we can compare. Now we're comparing December to November. So we had our clicks were up 16%. The click-to ratio was 10, which is actually down 14%, but it's still 10% is a good click-to ratio. Like I said, I strive for over 5. Search impression share is pretty much the same. It's still 96, 97%. That's something that I always keep above the 90s, like I said before. The conversion rate is pretty much just exactly the same, actually. I don't know why it's red pointing down, but it's 36.2%. That's kind of amazing. I've never seen it exactly the same 2 months in a row. But anyways, that means that, a third of the paid search traffic that I'm sending to this dealer is actually doing stuff that we want them to do. not just look and leave and bounce. Mobile sales calls at 27, down 18%. Mobile service calls are up 4.8% at 22. Look at the jump from calls from ads, 208. It jumped 112%. A lead in automotive business is worth $25. So if you just do the math, 25 times 208, that can kind of give you the value right there of, if these campaigns are successful or not. Cost per conversion is pretty much the same as it was the previous month, $3.87, which is really good. I don't mind spending $25 for a conversion. So this is like awesome. Because I underspent the month before, I did go over $150. But the client's okay with that because they know that I'm very responsible with their money. And I don't ever want to have to shut campaigns off at the end of the month. It's bad. So I like to keep my campaigns running 7 days a week, every day. And then average cost per click, again, not really too concerned about that, only because all you need is one other person that wants to battle you for that keyword in the top spot, and you're going to have a battle. So, it's not, there's some keywords in the automotive space that will cost $7, $8, $9, $10. So it really depends on your industry. On my other clients, like insurance, it can be $30, $40 for a click. It's crazy. So average position, again, 1.1. So this just kind of gives you a rundown on what kind of stuff that I look at when I set up campaigns. So we offer really two things. We do campaign management. We also do setups where we'll set up your AdWords account for you and just show you how to flick the switches if you're on a small budget and you don't want to pay management fees. That's really the practical way to go. And with this Data Studio report, I can build any custom report for you so that it makes more sense to you because, let's face it, most business owners just don't really know the mechanics of this, and they're constantly being hassled by other vendors trying to get them sign up, and they're trying to sell them some kind of sizzle. So I'll get more into detail about how I measure conversions. That's really what I love to do, and a little bit of analytics. But for now, thanks for watching my video, and stay tuned for the next one.